Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXD Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. So the women's 100 meters at the USA TF New York Grand Prix is now over, trackies, and I have the results for you. Now, this 100 meters comes on the heels of Elaine Thompson Herah going to the Prefontaine Classic and pretty much coming last. Trackies running at 11.30 seconds, but coming out of that, there was a lot of speculation as it relates to what's really going on. Why did she go if she knows she's not in the best of health? And we're, getting, even Elaine Thompson herself, alluding to, going there to collect the bag. And we're getting word from multiple sources that look here, Elaine Thompson here is good. Based on what I saw to me as well, she looked like she was fine, just looked like she wasn't running. You know what I mean? So, everything in this women's 100 meters, the excitement was definitely still brewing to see her actually come out and run a solid 100-meter race this season. And yes, everybody was looking forward to seeing that New York Grand Prix, and yes, seeing the results from Elaine Thompson here to show and make Jamaicans feel comfortable that one, yes, she is going to be ready for our national championships, and two, clearly for the Olympic Games. Well, as I said, Chuckies, the 100-meter race is done and dusted, and the results are in. Now, walking away with the win was Favor Ofili, and she ran an 11.18 seconds. Just a quick note, now the wind was a negative 2.1 meters per second wind, so you have to keep that in mind. Trackies as well, I did hear the commentator saying that it was raining earlier on. So once I heard these things, I figured, okay, we may not get the fastest times here. It's not the best conditions. Whatever happens in this particular race in terms of times, right? So as I said though, Favor Ofili walks away with the win, running an 11.18 seconds. Now, Morleki Kinnison finishing second, 11.20 seconds, and Aliyah Hobbs was third, 11.21 seconds. Now, as it relates to how I call this race, I had Favor Ofili and Aliyah Hobbs definitely in the top three. They made it. I think I had Makia Briscoe also around there with Gabby Thomas as well. They finished fourth and fifth in this particular race. But interestingly, track is in this race, Elaine Thompson Herah finishes last again. No, the time, however, this time was an 11.48 seconds. So, coming on the heels of the Prefontaine Classic and all the hype that was built up, especially post that race when it was vivid that Elaine Thompson here did not look like she was pressing gas in that race. She comes out in this race and she clocks an 11.48 to finish last. But what was the most gut wrenching out of this entire, sequence of events wasn't necessarily Elaine Thompson here coming last, but the fact that she went down apparently injured and hurt on the after she crossed the line. Well, it happened before she crossed the line based on what I saw, but yeah, it continued after she crossed the line because you saw her literally taking her shoes off and crouching down. If you're hurt to the point where you can't even take yourself off the track is that for me is grade 10 alarm in my mind. Like alarm bells are no just going like this into my head, right? So let me just set the scene for the women's 100 meters. So before the race started, they had a close up on Elaine, and I was just taking a look at her legs, and I thought to myself, okay, the legs look a bit thick. So in my opinion, you're still, very heavy in my mind because those thighs were definitely, in my opinion, not typical of, Elaine Thompson Herah, right? So that was my original thought, but also track is given the time, I'm like, okay, clearly all the athletes now are going to be going back to unload, so I'm not particularly concerned about the fact that she's still loaded, you know what I mean? But this is where what was going on for me got interesting because the race goes off and she doesn't get the best start, and we all know, we heard that she went to Prefontaine Classic to work on her start. Well, the start looked no better in this particular race. Actually, she looked, her start looked really really bad, and she doesn't necessarily get a bad start. Most times she just gets a normal start, and everybody else, some of the athletes really get flying starts, like a Shelly will get a super start, or a Dina and a Talu. Some of those athletes are really good at their starts, and even a Julian Alfred, right? So when you look at Elaine's start, her start will look normal in comparison to theirs. But I thought the start this time around looked really, really poor, in my opinion. And, she was pretty much on the back foot. And I saw the attempt this time around now to try to, gain momentum on the field. Unfortunately, that did not seem to happen in this particular race. And as I said, what gutted me was towards the end of the race, I saw her, grimace. And then after she crossed the line, she literally, went down in pain. Well, not immediately down, but, she crouched over. I'm just going to have a little snippet so that y'all can see. She crouched over. and immediately got her shoe off, and then she went down on the track. So for me, track is that, as I said, is sending off alarm bells in my head, because usually, depending on how serious the injury is, some of the athletes can still pull themselves off the track. They'll still limp off the track and then get looked at after the fact. However, when it comes to Elaine Thompson here and the fact that she, went down immediately, for me, that is telling me, oh my gosh, how serious is this? This is looking, way too serious than I want it to be at this particular point, or the whole Jamaica wants it to be at this particular point. Just 2 week, 2.5 weeks, you'd say, out of the national trials track is. This for me, as I said, sent off huge alarm bells in my head. And I'm starting to, contemplate in my mind, okay, how best will Elaine Thompson Herah be able to recover? Because one, you don't know how serious it is, right? Recover in time for still get the training in, because we all know Elaine Thompson Herah and her foot. Once she's injured, she has to stay off it. So how is she gonna still get her training in and still, be able to turn up at the national championships and vie for one of three spots to head off to the Olympic Games? That is where my brain is now running to. Because think about it, guys. Let's just throw out, the athletes that are contending in your brains right now. Clearly, even though you haven't seen Shelly, you have her as a contender always. Sherika still hasn't looked her best, but she's still a contender always. You know what I mean? And then you have to look at the new up and coming people. You have to look at a Brianna Liston that is out there, doing great things. Also, a young Slowly that looks like she may surprise this season. Plus the other athletes that are there in the thick of things that may also sneak in at any given moment. The Brianna Williamses, the Kemba Nelsons, the Natasha Marsons, the Sasha Lee Forbes. I saw Sasha Lee Forbes, last evening. Not saw her, but her, her time 11.05. So she's been very consistent, and she looks like, she's, on the track to doing a personal best this season. So there are a lot of athletes that are throwing their hands in right now. So Elaine Thompson Herah, this is not a year where Elaine Thompson Herah can potentially go in not her best and still expect, to quote unquote make the team. She, in my opinion, would have to be at her best to stave off all of these up and coming people if she wants to be a part of the team to, go down in history like she wants to, and content for a triple double, right? So that's the big question in my mind right now, Chuckies. But as I said, right now I'm very concerned about Elaine Thompson here, and I'm just wishing her all the best in terms of her health, hoping that it's not as serious as it looked to me. And I'm not gonna lie, Chuckies, it looked very serious, and it left me very alarmed and actually frightened, because I'm like, oh my gosh, oh no, oh no, oh no, this can't be happening right on the heels of trials. That is literally my thought process right now, Tracky. So yeah, I'm wishing her all the best, and I'm praying that when we hear news as it relates to what's happening with her, maybe I'm living in La La Land and being delusional at this particular point, but yes, I'm praying and hoping that I hear that it's not that serious. You know what I mean? Though that to me sounds, whack in my brain, that I'm actually thinking that I'm hoping that I'm hearing that it's not that serious, given how bad it looked on the track is. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.